Now, Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, the rematch is almost upon us. And while I'm really looking forward to this fight, and I think it'll be a great fight, there's a nagging little thought in the back of my mind that Tyson Fury is going to be robbed again. Now, before anybody says anything, I have no bias to Tyson Fury. I have no bias to Deontay Wilder. Now, for me, the first fight was a clear victory for Tyson Fury. And how the judges came up with those wildly differing scorecards, I have no idea. So let's have a look at those scorecards. Mexican Alejandro Rochan scored the fight 115 to 111 for Wilder. Canada's Robert Tapper had it 114 to 112 for Fury. And somehow, Brit Phil Edwards scored the contest a draw with 113 to 113. Now, Tapper's scorecard pretty much is correct, though I might have given Fury an extra point and deducted one from Wilder, making it 115 to 111. But how these scorecards can differ so wildly is beyond me. I mean, was one of the judges Mr. Magoo and one of them Stevie Wonder? I have no idea. But we see it time and time again in boxing. And something has to be done. This has to be sorted out somehow. Now, over the many years I've been involved in the sport, I've seen some appalling decisions and some appalling scorecards. And you kind of get immune to it and you kind of get a thick skin and you say to yourself, it's just the way it is. But for a fight of this magnitude, I just hope that the scoring is correct and the right person walks away with the victory. So let's have a look who the Nevada State Commission have employed to referee and judge this fight. The referee is Kenny Bayless, and you've got Glenn Feldman, Dave Moretti and Steve Weisfield. So first off, let's have a look at the referee, Kenny Bayless. Now, Ricky Hatton has said this is a great choice and he's always been pleased with Kenny Bayless's refereeing in the past. Now, I know Kenny Bayless is a good referee, solid referee, but really wouldn't have been my choice. I would much rather have had Steve Willis. Now, apart from the facial expressions and all of Steve Willis's antics and stuff, underneath all that, he's a very, very solid referee. Just take a listen to him talking about refereeing. He knows his stuff inside out. And when it actually comes down to talking about refereeing and doing his job, he's a very, very serious man. So I would have rather had Steve Willis as the referee. So on to the judges. Now, first up, Glenn Feldman. This guy I'm not too sure on. Go back and look at the scoring for the Manny Pacquiao-Keith Thurman fight. Now, for me, that was a clear victory for Manny Pacquiao, and Feldman scored the contest 114 to 113 for Keith Thurman. So next up, Dave Moretti. Now, on the surface, Moretti looks like a solid judge, and I know he's quite widely respected in boxing circles, but go back and look at some of the decisions he's come up with in the past. Doesn't exactly fill me with confidence. Now, last up, Steve Weisfield. Again, a guy who's well respected in boxing, by some people. They say he's a good judge, but go back and look at some of his scorecards. Not too good. So, an American referee, 3 American judges, I don't know. I mean, I know we had a British judge last time who scored it a draw, and I have no idea how he came up with that. So where do you find good judges? Now, what I'd like to see, personally, is I'd like to see the scores go up at the end of every round. This way, it would give some sort of transparency. So the fans would know who's winning the fight at the end of every round. And let's say it gets near the end of the fight and fighter A is way down on the scorecards, he can go hell for leather for the KO. So it gives some sort of transparency. The fans and the fighters and the trainers and the coaches and everybody knows what the hell is going on during the fight. We're not left, hanging there waiting for these usually rubbish decisions at the end of every fight. And we would know how the fight was being scored round by round. But at the end of the day, I hope this fight is a fair fight and the best man wins, and the fans and the boxing world have a fight they can talk about for years to come. A real classic. And maybe we'll get a third one. But like I say, I don't want it to go to the wrong person. And I don't want to see the same result as the first fight, when the guy who quite clearly won the fight was robbed. See you next video, guys.
No.